right, everybody. Well, welcome back to another episode of the Blazer Victory Podcast. John Duncan here, and of course, I'm joined as always with my co-host Jimmy Marion and Darian Smith. And we've got another game week for the UAB Blazers as UAB travels up to Fayetteville, Arkansas to take on the Arkansas Razorbacks. Only the second meeting ever. You know, they've only met these two programs have met only once before, back in 2014. So we'll go over that game preview in just a few minutes. But exciting watch party this Saturday at Cahaba Brewing Company for this game. Guys, please, help us spread the word. Get down to Cahaba Brewing Company. They're going to have $6 pints of Blazer Victory Pale Ale. So cool that we're going to have our own beer. Cahaba named a beer after us. So y'all partake in that fellowship. Forget the game. Hey, we're gonna cheer our Blazers on, but whatever happens in the game Saturday happens. Like I said, we'll get into previewing that here in a few minutes, but please help us spread the word and shout out to Cahaba Brewing Company again for letting us co-host this Blazer Victory watch party in the tap room. So again, come down, get there a little early. I know the game starts at 3:15, but get there around 3 o'clock. And also, we're going to have these koozies that we've mentioned before, and we're going to actually give those away. Now, we've got a limited stock of these koozies. So first come, first serve. I'm planning on getting there around 2:45. So, hey, whoever the early bird gets the worm. So y'all make sure to come down to the tap room and get you a John Duncan Blazer Victory podcast koozie, and we'll have fun fellowshipping with each other and all of our loyal listeners, and hope for a good crowd. And like I said, the game itself, we'll see what happens.
The graphic of John on the koozie is actually him explaining why you should come down to Cahaba early.
We don't want to.
Koozie of John Duncan. That is what the graphic is. Come on down.
We don't want to hear the excuses. Come on down. Why are you not planning right now to come on down to Cahaba Brewing Company this Saturday at 3 o'clock for the watch party? You get to see all three of us. You can get a koozie if you're the first few there. We'll have a good time regardless.
I need you to legit do the whole show with that koozie up on the screen. Like, that will make me smile, and that will make me forget what happened last week.
There you go. Hey, speaking of last week, that game recap episode is one. I hate that this happens. Like, when something happens, like I think the Louisiana game recap last year was like one of our hottest episodes, and the ULM recap was one of our hottest episodes to date. But I mean, it is what it is. We've got to move on from that game. We need the staff and the players to move on. Hopefully they will, and just get a good showing this Saturday. And shout out to YouTube. If you can't see us, you're not subscribed to the YouTube channel at Blazer Pod, to go ahead and hit that subscribe button. I believe we are at 250 right now, so let's try to get to 300 before the end of the football season. All right, now all the business is out of the way. UAB travels up to Fayetteville, Arkansas this Saturday, 3:15 p.m. Central Time on the SEC Network. We certainly hope, if you're not going up to Fayetteville, come on down to Cahaba Brewing Company Saturday for the watch party, Blazer Victory watch party. But guys, we can go over these stats, and I'm sure Jimmy, you have a couple stats for us, but I mean, it's a P4 game. It's a road SEC game. So honestly, we're just looking for, UAB, especially I'm looking for the UAB offense to look better than what they did this past Saturday. And can this UAB offense move the ball on an SEC defense? Can this offense capitalize in the red zone, not just field goals, touchdowns in the red zone? And maybe we look up and we're at Cahaba and we're in the third quarter only down 14 or less, and a good time. But Darian, film study, and we'll be honest, we didn't do a whole lot of film study on Arkansas. But what pops off to you, especially kind of looking at that Oklahoma State game, because this Razorback team is coming off of a tough loss as well.
Yeah. So I was able to catch some of the Oklahoma State game. I didn't watch all of it. I didn't get Koozie John. That's just how that's just the mood we in right now. But so I think two things are at play here. One, just going over Arkansas. The thing that just popped off and grabbed you about this team is that they're athletic. They're extremely athletic. I think that's how they get by. That's going to be their calling card this year is their athleticism. They have a lot of speed. They like to use the width of the field. They make you operate in space, right? And they make you make decisions, hard decisions. They have a very mobile quarterback that can run it. He can run it good. He's super fast. They have good running backs. So I think their running game, honestly, and then it's not like their quarterback can't throw the ball. He can throw the ball. He can pass it around. He'll make a mistake or two, maybe and that's if you like get some pressure on him. Like I feel like if you make him make quick, decisions, but a lot of times his athleticism can get him out of trouble. But they love the design runs, from and use their speed and athleticism and get you an open field. And they're tough. I mean, they're tough to bring down, right? It's not going to be like a power, like sometimes you think about, a Georgia or something. Sometimes Georgia's just like brute strength coming at you. That's not Arkansas. Arkansas kind of reminds you of when I think about old West Virginia when they had Pat White and Steve, I think it was Slater or something like that. When they would just get you out in that open field and it was like make you make decisions and like what you're gonna do, pick your poison. It's gonna be a touchdown, right? That is what Arkansas remind me of. I didn't get too much of what they were defensively. They seemed sound. They had a tough game with Oklahoma State, a game that they probably should have won. Oklahoma State came back and were able to take it in OT. But that just lets you know kind of caliber team. That Oklahoma State team was ranked with number 16, and Arkansas was giving them fits. It looked like they were gonna run away with it for a while through a crucial pick six in that game, 73-yarder or something like that. Arkansas did to kind of ease Oklahoma State back in that game. So it's gonna be tough to manage trying to keep up with their speed. I think that's going to be the key thing. I think this is the thing, and we come back to this. We learned it from the Alcorn game. Saw what happened to ULM game. Can we be sound? I really stand on the fact that, and I love the fact that Chameleonaire, Dave, he posted this chart, and it said, how much did you really get beat by or whatever, and this chart just tells you basically how the game flow went, or did you really get beat how you thought you got beat? And I can't really explain it, honestly. But basically, UAB didn't get beat as the score said we got beat. UAB, we beat ourselves. And we talked about it ad nauseum during the Alcorn game. I mean, after the Alcorn game, we was like, can this team be sound? Can they be sound? Can we not make mistakes? We made a lot of mistakes. And that cost us a lot of points in that game, and that worried me. Well, we go down to ULM, all this hype, all this we focus, blah, 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 and we make mistake after mistake. Our defense played well. You go back and look at that game, our defense played. It was our offense making mistake after mistake, giving them a short field, safety, pick sixes, whatever it was special teams. Everything worked against the defense to where it looked as if it was their fault at the end for letting ULM put up 30-some points. No, it was not it. That was not the case. I know they ran the ball, but golly, man, how much time are you gonna put the defense on the field? How many times are you gonna give the other team short? short field position. How many mistakes, like senseless, like not picking up blocks, blocking the wrong people, whatever mistakes you can think of, we made during the ULM game. That worries me more than anything because it's like I'm starting to think, is this the DNA of this team? And you remember during the Clark, it was that the 2021 season, the 22 season, where we always just kept getting penalties. And we and you remember we were like, hey, just clean it up. And then it was like, hey man, is this the DNA of this team? And it turns out it was. We just got penalized and that killed us. Well, this team, I'm like, you can sit here and say, clean up mistakes. All we got to do is block this person. All I got to do is get this. It's 2 games in, one of the most embarrassing losses in the history of this program, riddled with mistakes. I did not see a team get physically dominated. And honestly, I probably would feel better if I'm like, hey guys, we tried. We just need to recruit better. We need to get. I did not see that. I just saw a team making mistakes just like they did all corn games. So I can't tell you what the score is going to be because I don't know if this team is going to fix those mistakes. I was confident that they were. They didn't at all. It actually looked worse. So will they? I don't know. You get to fill that up. Hopefully they do. And if they do, I think we can compete in some sense. I honestly don't think this is a game we will win. Can we win? Yes. Do I think we will win? I don't. But they don't need me to say they will or not. They need to go out there and do their thing and go out there and go to win. That's my whole thing. You go out there to win. I wouldn't when I play, I didn't care who believed if I could win or not. I felt like I was the best player on the field. So I was gonna win anyway. So hopefully these guys can come out here. Only thing I'm looking for, whatever the score is, are we going to clean up mistakes? Just please. There's going to be some mistakes during games, but please, I just want us to look proficient. I want us to look like we took some coaching. You know what I'm saying? That's all I want to say. And I'm looking for the play calling to be diverse. What I thought we were going to be is I don't want to see like a ground and pound, you know what I'm saying, 2012 Alabama. I don't
11 personnel against Arkansas. Nah.
No, like I want us to, try to do different stuff. And if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. But I thought versatility was the calling card of this team. And maybe I was wrong. I'm not at practices. I can't tell you what the personnel of this team. I can't tell you the strengths. I'm not a coach. This is just things that I thought was going to be our strength, building on the first year of the offense. That's just the expectations I had. So maybe I need to adjust, but that's what I would like to see.
Jimmy, what are your thoughts ahead of this game?
Yeah, I was going to say the chart for success rate that you referenced, our millionaire, is really an efficiency metric. So it's looking at the efficiency behind the offensive plays, looking at down and distance and how successful the offense was essentially at moving the ball in those situations. And so it's not surprising to me that particular metric was close because I didn't go into that game, and nor do I believe now that the Louisiana Monroe is a high success rate offense. They're certainly not explosive. And so when you look at some of that would explain why those metrics are a little bit closer in that particular area, in my opinion. You look back at some of the other metrics related to average field position, which was the field was completely flipped in the Monroe game, and the turnovers, a net margin of 3 in that particular statistic. And then, quite frankly, when Louisiana Monroe was given opportunities to score, they were more successful in doing so. And so really you look at those, and not to hamper too much on the Louisiana Monroe game, but that would be some of my thoughts there. For me, offensively for Arkansas, you referenced Taylon Green. Obviously, Trent Dilfer had spoken about him in the press conference. I mean, the guy's 6'6", 230 pounds, and when you look at his career stats rushing the ball, I mean, he's rushed for over almost 1,200 yards in his career, for over 6 yards of rush and 21 touchdowns, to go with 4,500 yards passing, 30 touchdowns. Now, if you could look at anything on this Arkansas team, if you wanted to really grasp at straws and say what is something that maybe might be an area of weakness for them right now, it would be turnovers. You look at turnover margin. Arkansas thus far this season has fumbled the ball 6 times. They've only lost 2 of which, but they're not necessarily gaining additional opportunities by turning the other team over. And they have been turning the ball over, specifically against Oklahoma State. So you would hope that a team like Arkansas in this game would turn the ball over and give UAB some much needed opportunities as a heavy road underdog. On the defensive side of the ball, through 2 games, opponents are averaging a whopping 59 rushing yards per game against Arkansas. Oklahoma State did have some success, 326 yards the quarterback for Oklahoma State had through the air. But, I mean, again, on the ground, it looks like Arkansas is holding opponents under 3 yards a carry. Actually, in this past game, the running back for Oklahoma State, which was essentially coming into the year like a Heisman candidate, was 17 carries for 49 yards, which was under 3 yards a carry. So, excuse me. So, long story, Arkansas. I wish we were going against Arkansas State this weekend. Arkansas has been pretty good on the ground. And, for me, as much as I want to see UAB throw the ball down the field and do a bunch of different things offensively, when you're this heavy of an underdog, I would think that you're going to want to play more of the time possession, hold the ball, and keep Taylon Green off the field. And then how are you going to I don't know. It's tough to talk about the UAB offense after 6 points against Louisiana Monroe, but hopefully UAB offense is able to be more successful on the road and fare better than the opponents against Arkansas this year.
Yeah, you said it, Jimmy. I mean, holding Ollie Gordon to under 3 yards per carry, which is that's great rush defense, and Arkansas can tip their hat on that. I mean, you can talk about the Pine Bluff game, but the Oklahoma State game, holding Ollie Gordon, which is one of the best running backs in the country, under 50 yards rushing on 17 carries, like that is impressive. And you say, Arkansas has had turnover problems. I mean, they darn well like just crapped away the Oklahoma State game. Like they had that game won, and 3 turnovers, 0 for 2 on 4th down. I mean, they just crapped it away. But you look on the flip side, UAB's got 6 turnovers through 2 games. So can UAB not turn the ball over? Like Darian mentioned earlier, can we not beat ourselves? I think this is a game. It's really more this UAB team looking in the mirror and getting themselves right. Like, because what we saw last week, I don't think is indicative of how this team should be this year, hopefully. But I guess we'll see. Try to get better each week. You've got the bye week coming after this Arkansas game. So can UAB move the ball in this Arkansas defense? Can they capitalize in the red zone? Can they not shoot themselves in the foot in turning the ball over in critical possessions? But like Jimmy said, that winning recipe is kind of like a ball control. I mean, might want to get BV on the phone. He did ball control last week against UAB. And if UAB can milk that clock and get that run game established against this very tout rush defense for the Hogs, keep it relatively close, and we'll be happy. But realistically, I don't see UAB winning this game.
Yeah, let me ask this question for our listeners, and John, you just kind of stated some good points as well. Is a lot of people talk about you got to bounce back, and that happens after disappointing losses or outcomes. My question is, what result would demonstrate to you that UAB has bounced back? In other words, what signs of improvement would you like to see? And John, you referenced some about taking advantage of those red zone opportunities, able to move the ball down the field. Of course, I would love to see some type of vertical passing game mixed in with a, healthy, run game to kind of have some of that time of possession that I think UAB is going to need to keep the Arkansas offense off the field. That Arkansas offense is ranked currently. You have the Pine Bluff game in there, but number 2 nationally in yards per game. They're averaging almost 650 yards a game. They're number 11 nationally yards per play, top 30 in third down percentage. Pick your poison on the ground, through the air. They can really do it all right now. So those are things. But yeah, again, for the listeners, is like, what do you need to see? Because I do not believe that UAB can win this game. So I love the optimism from Darren. I certainly need it. But in a game in which right now, currently the line continues to move to 24.5, it opened at 21. In a game in which whatever number of fans you're going to have, whatever their capacity is, 60, 70, 80, 90,000 fans, it's their first home game of the year at their true home field against an SEC opponent. I think that instead of looking at, again, Arkansas and can UAB win this game, it's more about what can UAB do to give some confidence to the fans that the rest of the season, specifically in the AAC, they're going to be more competitive in those games.
Well, I got a couple points to bring up. I know as a player and as a player and as a staff member, you shouldn't give a damn about this part right here. This is us as fans, right? This is us going by what we see. We don't know them. We don't know them as people. We don't know them as players. We're not at practice. So these are people. Some people got to get out of their feelings. Like, we have to report what we see on, what we talk about, and we are a bridge to the fans, right? And we just try to articulate those feelings based on what we know. As a staff member or as a player, you shouldn't worry about this part, or you should use it as fuel, right? Because honestly, we're not yes men. We don't go around and be like, oh no, we can do this. No, this is what this looked like. This is what we see. We want to report on something good. If we see bad, we're going to tell it how it is. It is what it is. You know what I'm saying? It's just everybody has a job to do, but they shouldn't care about this. You look at that, you look at the film, you learn what you're supposed to learn. I don't think that's a flush it film. A lot of times people have bad games and they just flush it. No. You need to go back and dissect. You need to go back and look at that second half of that Alcorn game and be like, man, I'm messing up on this. I'm messing up on that. Go back and conversate with your coaches and fix it. That's what you do. You can tell when people just had a bad game and it's just bad juju. And then, that was just just flush that when we it was something going on with that game. I've been part of that. I've also been part of bad habits, right? When you develop bad habits, that Alcorn game, along with the ULM game, shows you that you have some bad habits. Something is not clicking on a learning level, right? That on your assignments, it's not sound enough. You need to go back and dissect. And I think they can do that. That's my thing. It's not physical. It's like, so to me, it's bothering me because it's like something that I can fix, you can fix, right? Anybody can fix something that's just getting assignments correct. You just have to care enough. Honestly, you just have to care enough. Do you care enough to get in the lab, to just get in there in the film room and study your ass off, to go on the field, to talk and communicate, to be the best version of yourself? Do you care enough? So if you go out there and you get ran over by a guy, so be it, right? I know, Jimmy, you were saying that what would you consider a success? I can go back to last year when we played Georgia, right? That was overwhelmingly a success for us because of the way we played.
And coming off of that was the game following the Louisiana game, right?
I think it might have been, yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
So
overwhelmingly, and I couldn't thank John because I couldn't think if it was after Tulane or if I couldn't remember exactly which one it was after, but so thank you for that. But yeah, it was important for us to see that. And it's, what the crazy thing is and why I expected more and why that game was such a disappointment. Last year, it was a clear talent deficiency, especially defensively. You know, but for the most part, and y'all can correct me if I'm wrong, we were sound. A lot of times we were just getting beat. Like if you think about Tulane against our D line against our offensive line, it wasn't like missed assignments. It was like guys was just getting beat. I can take that. I can take that, right? It's like, okay, this is how we gotta fix. It's certain things that, you know, we talked about linebacker and safety and all these positions, like how small we were, blah blah blah. I'm like, okay, but we were sound. We were still putting points on the board. The vertical passing game was good. Nobody complained really about play calling. We were aggressive on third and fourth downs. Like we could stretch the field. We could move laterally. We had jet sweeps. Whatever you want, we would do it. And for the most part, we did it efficiently and we hit our marks. So it is so confusing coming into this year. And it's like it's completely opposite now. It's like now you're not sound. You have enough talent. So that's what I'm seeing. And that's what I've heard all off season. That is what recruiting is telling me. That's what the transfer portal was telling me. It's like we have cleared up deficiencies, especially defensively. All would agree that we did. We have. Look at the way they played. They have played. We tackle a lot better, right? We get people on the ground. There's not so many explosive plays. I'm like, okay, but what happened offensively? Was losing the receivers that bad? You know, I was losing a couple of offensive linemen. Did that affect us that much? You know, like, I don't know. It's weird because you return a lot of the key pieces that you need offensively, especially the quarterback especially, how can I put it? I don't want to put it in a disrespectful way, but he was hyped up. He was hyped up a lot. He's had 2 ho-hum games. ULM was a bad game, you know. I'm not saying that was his fault. I'm saying that we put those expectations on him, not us, but the school, the athletic, the staff. They put Trent himself. They put these expectations on Jacob. He's one of the best, this and this. He can be this. It was so much, and you can just go back and listen to it. So when you come out there and you have these duds totally opposite of last year, what is going on? Because you can't be mad at the fans for expecting something more, especially from a standpoint of being sound and leadership. You know, and that's the part that's weird to me. Like, so what I consider a success, a team not making mistakes. You can get beat 63-7, and if you just don't make mistakes, I'll be like, at least we'll have a chance. Maybe Arkansas is that good. Make them prove that. Make them go out and beat you. I don't want to see us. If we beat ourselves again, I don't know how that's gonna make me feel. My level of care is really gonna go down for this team because if you show me on the field that you don't, that's how you show me that you don't care. When you miss assignment after assignment, and it's a lot of this, and it's a lot of, well, we just have to go back and fix. No, 3 games in, you got people coming to support you. They care, they this and that. That's why people are upset. That's why people are talking on social media. We're upset. No one's quiet. When I played and we were getting beat to sleep and blah, 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 nobody said nothing because nobody cared. Nobody cared, right? Nobody cared. But now you got a lot of people caring that's trying to care. But you don't go out there and make mistake after mistake. That ain't the way to get people to care. So if they go out and do that, I'm gonna just be real. Why am I watching film? Why is Jimmy going out and getting statistics? And why are you trying to set up all these watch parties? Who's gonna come to the watch party? Because a team is gonna go out there and make mistake after mistake. I don't want to see that. Go out there, and if you're gonna get beat and make them beat you, at least we'll cheer for you, just like we did that Georgia game. We were proud of you. Give us something to be proud of. I'm not proud of the effort at Alcorn, and I'm not proud of the effort, definitely in the ULM game. Just give us something to be prideful about. That's it. That's all we ask for, and we can get behind that.
Beautifully said.
I was gonna say I don't have anything else to add. That was great, Darian. I mean, do we want to do score predictions or no? No.
I,
Okay.
I wrote one down.
Oh, all right, Jimmy.
All right. So first and foremost, I just wanted to give just kind of a recap. We talked about stats and we'll close the book on that. But going back to that success rate, you look at 14 games in the Trent Dilfer era, and UAB has not won a game in which they did not win the success rate. So UAB through 14 games is 5-2 when they have a better success rate than the opponent, and they're 0-7 when they do not. So again, I don't envision UAB winning the success rate against this Arkansas offense. But again, that's not what we're measuring this game on. That's one small data point on all these other things that Darian just so eloquently spoke to about the effort and about the not beating yourself part of it, not putting your defense in those poor positions or special teams having your, kicking it short like we saw last year or having a punt blocked and, those critical mistakes in those moments and also taking advantage of opportunities when they are presented to you. If we see a UAB team that limits mistakes and takes advantages of opportunities and forces mistakes, plays hard, tackles sound, then I think that to Darian's point, the Georgia game was a great example because UAB still lost that game. It was never really in question from the Georgia perspective, but we went into halftime. I think it was a 14-point game. We scored late right before the half, and we moved the ball. And to Darian's point, it was something to be proud of. Looking at the Arkansas game, are y'all going to get predictions too, or just me?
I've got one.
So
I ain't gonna even give one. It is what it is.
I've got Arkansas 59, UAB 10.
I've got it 45-14 Arkansas. But that being said, I mean, I would, depending on how the game goes, a 45-14, like, is it competitive into the third quarter and it just all hell breaks loose? I mean, I would feel okay with that, like show me some
What was
fight.
the end of Alabama USF score? What was the final score of that game?
They ended up losing by or Alabama won by 29 or something like that. But that was close in the fourth quarter.
That's exactly that's what I'm saying. That's exactly
Yeah.
when I think about that, imagine we kind of in the fourth quarter, and now I remember that game was it was close in that fourth quarter, and then I was at the wedding, and then I looked back, I was like, dang, what happened? I know it was at the end of the game, it seemed like, but what if we could do something like that, man? What would that do to the fan base, bro? Like, that would at least give us some pride, some kind of care. Like, okay, we care. We're gonna show up next home game. We're here. We're gonna support our guys. Just don't go out there, please. If any staff member, any player listening to this, show us that you care. The people are upset at the ULM game because it just looked like the perception was, do you really care? DB spoke about that after the game. That if anything, that was one thing that probably.
Yeah, we didn't talk about that, but that kind of, yeah.
Yes, because he said, from his perspective, only thing he was doing was speaking his truth. I ain't mad at him. He said, hey, y'all didn't want it like we did. Y'all didn't want it. And guess what? During the game, I'm looking at social media activity. Guess what our fans were saying? It looks like ULM I saw multiple people saying that. Body language, you look at their body, they pumped up. They're not making mistakes, right? They just keep on going and going. It looked like they wanted it more. It looked like they was giving more effort. I don't know what to tell you. I can't tell you if that was true or not. I can only tell you what it looked like. And that's what it looked like. So I want to see us look like we want it more than Arkansas. I want to see us mind, body, and soul in the game. That's all I want to see, man. So hopefully they show us that. I'm going to be. I don't know what I'm going to be if they don't show us that, but I promise you that I'll speak on it if they will. If they do or not, I'll speak on it. I don't care who got something to say or feel away, but they just need to know that.
Just give us some positive momentum heading into this bye week, and then after the bye week, UAB does open up AAC play at home against Navy. Just give us something to be to positive to go into the bye week and into the Navy game. But guys, we done a 35-minute episode. Wow, we were worried that it might not be very long, but this is great stuff. Thank you guys, Darian and Jimmy, and thank you, listener and viewer. Again, if you're not subscribed on YouTube, please subscribe to this video or to the YouTube channel. More videos to come. Please get out to Cahaba Brewing Company this Saturday at 3:00. He wants you there. He says, Blazer Victory Pale Ale, $6. These fresh koozies. Why wouldn't you not show up? Hey, like I said, worst comes to worst, if the game kind of gets out of hand, we are still going to fellowship with everybody. And we're going to have a good time.
Sell it, Judge. Sell it, Judge.
That's right. Oh, all right. Jimmy, go ahead and send us out until the Arkansas game recap.
Blazer Nation, have a great week. See y'all on Saturday at Cahaba. Go Blazers.